Hi everyone. So today, hopefully I've gotten the camera working. We're gonna do some paleo pizza. So it's gluten-free. It's the crust anyway is very healthy for you. It can also be dairy-free if you choose to not use cheese. You can use whatever toppings you want. We're gonna do pickle and turkey pepperoni. All right, let's go over the ingredients. Okay, so we are definitely going to need parchment paper. I did put out all the brands that I'm using for the most part. We're going to use a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. We're going to use a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. We're also going to use a tablespoon of egg white. Sorry about that. This is the egg white right here. So this is actually ingredients for two pizzas. I should have probably started with that, but that's okay. So you see two of everything just because I'm doing two pizzas. I found that there are 2 tablespoons of egg whites per 1 egg. So Bino will actually get the yolk. Sometimes I eat the yolk on a salad, but Bino's going to get it today. We're also going to need a tablespoon of active dry yeast, a tablespoon of pure raw honey. What's back here? We're going to need 3/4 cup of almond flour, 3/4 cup of tapioca flour, 3/4 teaspoon of salt. I'm using the Himalayan pink salt. We're also going to need cheese. I have 16 ounces of mozzarella, 8 ounces of cheddar. I like that blend. And I also do like buying the Rouse sauce. You can make your own, but we're going to use the margarita pizza sauce. You'll need a pizza cutter. And you also need a pizza paddle to get your pizza out of the oven and a pizza stone to cook your pizza on. All right, so let's get to cooking. So I filled my sink with very, very hot water, as hot as my faucet can go, about 1 inch of water. We want, because we're going to put the yeast and the honey in this bowl, and we want the yeast to be very warm so it gets nice and active. So we are going to I'm going to measure out 1 tablespoon. That's the only ingredient I didn't measure. I like to keep it in the jar. The jar I keep in the freezer because I don't often cook with it. So I keep it in the jar so it stays inactive until I need it. So 1 tablespoon of active yeast. We are going to add our honey, which I should have gotten a little. This is also a tablespoon of yeast, a tablespoon of our honey, and a 1/4 cup of hot water. Now, you don't want it like so hot that it's boiling and it's going to kill your yeast, but you want it definitely warm enough to, keep the bowl warm. So warm to the inside of the wrist, but not so hot that you can't touch it. So we're going to whisk that together, and then we're going to just let it sit. So we'll whisk this together. Just kind of get the honey dissolved in there. And all that, as much yeast as you can in the bottom. So if you don't use yeast often, you can store it in your freezer and it will keep. It kind of pauses the yeast and gives it a little bit of a longer lifespan. Now the honey is really going to activate the yeast, the warm temperature of the water. But the yeast needs something to eat, something sugary, and that's what this raw honey is going to do. All right, so we're going to just let that sit while we mix our other ingredients. Okay, so in this little red bowl, we are going to mix together the other portion of our wet ingredients. So we have a tablespoon of olive oil. Make sure you get all that goodness in there. 1.5 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar. And our tablespoon of egg white. It doesn't take much to mix this up. We're just gonna boop, 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 stir it with our little spatula. Especially with the oil, it doesn't really want to mix very well, so all of our ingredients are nice and mixed together as well as possible. All right, and now we're going to put our dry ingredients in our stand mixer. See if I can just move the camera. Okay, so we are going to put our 3/4 cups of almond flour, 3/4 cup of tapioca flour or tapioca starch. This is very, very puffy. It sticks really like a lot, like it almost has a texture of baking powder. It sticks to literally everything. It's much messier than flour. And we're gonna put our 3/4 teaspoon of salt in there. We're just gonna stir it up a little bit. You can use the spoon that you used or the spatula that you used to mix the wet ingredients. So just stir that around in there, just so that it's all incorporated. Once it's incorporated, we're going to add our wet ingredients. Oh, good thing I saw this. I think I chipped one of my glasses. I did. I'm gonna have to go through this and make sure, well, we'll find out if there's any more glass in there. I thought I heard something. All right, I'm actually going to remake this and we'll come back because I'm not sure if there's any more glass and I wouldn't want any more pieces of glass in here. I'm poking around. All right, I'm going to remake this and I'll come right back. Okay, so now I'm back. I would have, you know, tried to sift it if it weren't my children eating it, but I decided to just remake it. So now I'm glad I didn't add this. I would have wasted a whole lot of stuff. Now we're going to add our wet mixture with the egg and the olive oil. And we're just going to mix that with the spoon for a little bit. Just so that it doesn't get all crazy and fly up in our faces. All right, and then we're going to put it down and we're going to mix on low. Okay, once that is all mixed up, we're going to take our bowl out of the sink and we are going to add that. So I'm going to show you what it looks like. Let me grab my little paper towel. Oh, I didn't grab a paper towel. Grab a paper towel. So I'm trying to not move it much. So it's very kind of frothy looking. Hopefully you can see that frothiness. It kind of has like little bubbles on top. That's how you know that the yeast is doing its job. So we're just going to dump this all in there. We're going to scoop out every last bit of it. I'm trying to not block the camera. So I'll have to tell you a funny story about my mother baking a dime into, I believe it was banana bread. She did not do it on purpose, but my father bit right into the dime. It's a fun story that we tell quite often at dinner or any family get-togethers or anything. So we're going to mix that on low. Okay, so I'm going to scrape down the sides and we're going to mix it again just to make sure that we got everything incorporated. Now this is not going to look like normal dough that you're used to. So it's going to look fairly watery. That is 100% completely normal. All right, we'll put this down, we'll mix it again. And I'll take the camera and I will show you. So we are going to we're going to have to let this rest and rise. It doesn't rise much, but it will rise. It's almost not visible to see the rising of it. Scrape down the sides. Now I am going to be doing a second one. So I'm going to put this into another bowl, but you're going to, if you're not doing a second one, you're going to scrape it into a tiny little ball at the bottom, and you're going to cover it with either paper towels, just that cover the top of the bowl with paper towels or cheesecloth. So you can see it does not look like regular dough. It's not going to feel like dough. It's a little sticky. It sticks to your fingers. You're going to cover it with cheesecloth, a tea cloth, a paper towel, and you're just going to let it sit for 70 minutes. That's an hour and 10 minutes at least. It can sit for longer, but at least 70 minutes. And then we'll come back and I'll show you how to prepare it. Okay, so we're back. I'm going to show you what the dough looks like. So you can kind of see it's risen a little bit. It's still very kind of soft to touch. We're going to roll it out with our hands. We don't need rolling pins or anything like that. So I've laid out parchment paper on top of my pizza paddle. I suggest you take off any rings. That dough will stick to them. So we are going to pour some olive oil into our hands. You're going to want to rub your hands together to get them completely coated in olive oil. Yes, preheat your oven to 500 degrees. And then you're going to rub your hands all over the parchment paper so the parchment paper gets nice and covered. This will help make the bottom of your pizza nice and golden brown. And if you coat your hands completely, it will help prevent the dough from sticking to you. So when I first started doing this recipe, I was adding way too much tapioca starch or tapioca flour and way too much almond flour. I kept changing the ratios and adding more and more and more to thicken it because it was always so runny and sticking to my hands. But it never came out quite right. So I found out, a happy accident, I poured too much olive oil on my parchment paper. So I'm going to get the dough as I'm talking. So I'm literally going to just scoop this out with my hands and just plop it down. You want it kind of in a ball. You can rub it around in your hands and make a ball. But get all of that out of there. So like I was saying, happy accident, I poured way too much olive oil. So I was like, olive oil is really good for your skin. So I'm just going to rub it in my hands. Found out that the olive oil prevents it from sticking to your hands too much. So I'm rubbing it into kind of a ball. I'm not really pressing. I'm just kind of lightly rolling it. So now we're going to press it right in the middle. We're just going to press it out with our hands. So as you can see, it's not sticking to my hands. That little bit was from the inside of the bowl that I just scraped out. And you're going to want to press it pretty thin. I'd say maybe 1/4 of an inch, but you'll be able to kind of feel what's right. So it makes pretty decent sized pizza pie. So yeah, happy accident. I'm glad I did that because now it comes out nice and crispy and crunchy. So this is more of like a thin crust, like New York style type pizza. Even up in Massachusetts, they do the thinner crust bar pizzas. It's definitely not like a Chicago deep dish. Yeah, it was like just a strange texture when I was adding too much of the flour and tapioca starch. When it was done cooking. It wasn't terrible. I ate it. But it wasn't the greatest. So I'm so happy that I decided to just rub my hands in olive oil that day and was like, oh my goodness. It's not really sticking to my hands. So I can't really pick up the camera. Hopefully I am getting it. I just had to look over at my phone. So sometimes you see like little tiny holes. That's okay. You can squish a little bit in there to squish it back together. We're going to squish this out. And I like doing it also with my hands because you can feel that it's even all the way throughout. So Dada is outside with the girls. He's coming in. Hi. So the girls have been playing outside because today was actually a really nice day. I took them to the zoo earlier today. We had fun with the monkeys and the giraffes. We actually saw them feeding the giraffes, which was pretty cool. But yeah, if you're looking for, you know, a nice gluten-free, you know, pizza crust, this is definitely it. So I take my time when I'm pressing this out just to make sure that it's all the same. Also, if you don't have more water. If you don't have a pizza stone, you can do it on a cookie sheet. My mama's cooking. Hi. Hi, baby. Hi, baby. Mama's gonna cook some pizza. No, Cat. Yeah, no. You can't go outside, Cat. No. So you can, like I said, bake it on a cookie sheet. You just might not be able to get a nice round pizza. It's going to come out more square. Definitely still use the parchment paper underneath of it. Oh, now the cat's crying because he wants to go outside. No, you can't go outside. We have coyotes. They'll eat you. But I highly recommend getting a pizza stone. It just cooks it so much better. If you do end up getting a pizza stone, definitely get yourself a pizza paddle. Otherwise, you're going to be pulling the pizza stone in and out of the oven, and they are heavy. So we are going to put this in the oven now that it's about 1/4 of an inch thick. We're going to put it in the oven for 3 minutes, and then we're going to pull it out, and we're going to sauce it and top it. So we'll be right back. Okay, so it's been in there for 3 minutes, and you can see it's no longer sticky. It's no longer, you can't push it out anymore. And there's tiny little air pockets in there, which is exactly what we want. There's a little bit of browning around the edge, but not too much browning. Every oven is different. I found that 3 minutes and then 4 minutes in my oven works. However, 3 minutes and 3 minutes might work in yours. 3 minutes and 5 minutes might work. But it does not take very long to cook. So we are going to throw our sauce on first. Now, sometimes I do cheese first. Sometimes I do sauce. I like sometimes doing the cheese first, just so that it gets a little crispier. The sauce will soften it more, but because the girls are eating it, soft is not terrible. So I like putting the sauce all the way to the edge. So this first pizza I'm going to do, you can do any toppings you want. You can just do cheese if you'd like. If you do just cheese, I highly, highly, highly recommend using the cheddar. I may not use all of the mozzarella today. I will use it probably in a salad. Or just put it on noodles for the girls. The cat really wants to go outside so bad. So I really highly recommend using cheddar with your pizzas because it gives it a very nice sharp feeling. I don't know. It's a unique flavor. If you've had sharp cheddar cheese on your pizza before, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. If you haven't, just try it. You're going to love me for it. So, that's a good amount of sauce. I don't care for too much sauce on my pizzas, so I'm going to leave it at that. This is the mozzarella. We're just going to sprinkle. Now, this will get very melty, so we're going to sprinkle the mozzarella. And like I said, I am using pickles on this pizza. The other one's going to be turkey bacon. So once I'm finished covering it in cheese, we'll put I did pre-cut the pickle slices. If you do pickle pizza, if you've never had pickle pizza, I highly, highly recommend that as well. Don't use any pickles other than dill. I have tried bread and butter pickles, which are my favorite. It doesn't taste right. I have also tried sweet gherkin pickles, which I also love. It doesn't taste quite right. The dill pickle is really the only pickle that tastes really, really, really super, super good. That's probably a good amount of mozzarella. We are going to put a very, very nice amount of the cheddar because that really gives it the zing. Like I said, I do like putting everything right up to the edge. I don't like too much breadiness. If you like that breadiness, leave a little bit more of the edge open. You know, this is cooking, not really baking, even though we are baking it in the oven. It's still cooking, so you don't have to really follow these steps exactly. The dough steps you do have to follow exactly, or it will not come out right. Do not pack the almond flour. Don't pack the tapioca flour. So they're about maybe an eighth to a quarter of an inch thick. You can do them thicker if you want. I like them nice and thin, and we're just gonna spread them all out around this. I really hope they like the pickle pizza. Guinevere hasn't really been into the pickles lately, but you know, we can just pick them off and it's plain underneath. No big deal. But pickle, I never had a pickle pizza until I went up to Massachusetts. And we had bar pizza and somebody said pickle pizza and I said, that sounds awful. And they were like, oh, you have to try it. So we ordered a pickle pizza. I'm typically a plain Jane, just cheese pizza person. But I must say, that pickle pizza was so stinking good that I said, I'm going to have to try this on my paleo pizza at home. Now, paleo is a lifestyle, which Walt and I used to do. I keep saying I'm going to go back, but I really do love pasta. And I think I'll really miss the pasta. I'm just going to throw a little bit more mozzarella on top so that the pickles kind of stick. They're probably going to pick them off anyway, but I really want the pickles to stick a little bit. If you put too much on this pizza, it's going to be really hard to eat, but you can put as much as you want. You can put a whole salad on top of this pizza instead of cheese, like a Mediterranean pizza. So I'm going to put this back in the oven for 4 minutes, and we'll be back after that to see what it looks like. We're back. The pickle pizza is finished. Now, before you go and cut right into it, let it cool for about at least 5 minutes. So this way the cheese sets. If you go in there and cut it right now, the cheese is going to go everywhere. The pickles are going to go everywhere. If you're making a double pizza, that's perfect because that gives you time to let this rest while you're making your other dough. So we have a glass cooktop. So I'm going to put this on the stovetop, and then I'll be back and we're going to roll out the other dough, and I'll show you how I do it again so you can get 2 views. I'm going to do the pepperoni, the turkey pepperoni for the second one for them to try. So I'm going to go put this on the stove and I'll be right back. One of my children just told me to come back outside. I think it's Gwen. Usually I can hear who it is. So remember, dump the olive oil in your hand. We're going to rub it in our hands until our hands are completely covered. It is Gwen asking me to come back outside. We're going to rub it on our parchment paper. Either that or she wants to come inside and she's getting inside and outside confused. Which can be sometimes tough when one wants to come in and the other wants to stay out. So we've put olive oil all over our parchment paper. We're going to take our ball. We're going to just I have no idea what is going on out there. So we're just going to roll our ball just into a ball and we're going to push it down. So I feel like this one I may have added a little too much almond flour. It feels a little stiff, but that's okay. It'll just be still going to taste the same. It's just harder to push out into a round pizza. You can't do anything to add to it. This might be the one that I found the glass and had to remix. I kind of did it really quickly. Do you want to come inside? Uh-huh. I heard you yelling back outside. You got your inside and outside confused, huh? Uh-huh. Mama's making pizza. Aw, I love you. I wish I could give you a hug. My hands are all dirty. I love you. Oh, oh, you see the cat? Yeah, he's laying on his back. Dada's coming. Hi. Aw, thanks for the hug, Mama. Thank you. Yeah, the oven up there is hot. So the oven is way too tall for them to even touch. So don't worry about them. They can just feel the heat radiating off of it. I have a top and bottom ovens. I have 2 ovens, top and bottom. And for the most part, when they're running around, I use the top oven. Which was also another reason to get a pizza paddle, because I'm a little short to be taking the pizza stone out of the top oven by myself without burning myself. It's a little hot. Did somebody just fall down, Boom? Oh, I'm bunking heads. I'll try to make this a little rounder. It's a little ovally shaped, but that's okay. Adding too much tapioca flour or almond flour will make it a little stiffer and harder to, it's not as flowy, so it's a little harder to push out into a nice circle. So that, like I said, you want it fairly thin, like 1/4 of an inch thick, maybe even a little bit less. Hi. Oh, thanks for the hug. I like pizza. Yeah, Mom is making the pizza. I'm glad that you want pizza. I hope you like this pizza. I wish I had saved some pickles. I can always cut some more. So I'm going to put this in the oven, like I said, for 3 minutes, and then we'll pull it out and we'll top it. Now that was 3 minutes, so we're going to put some sauce on this. Are you singing Good Day Sunshine? Yeah? I love it. Vina, do you have to go outside? So once you've gotten all of your sauce on there, cover it with your cheese. Are you okay? Cheddar cheese. Bina, do you have to go outside? You have to go out the other door, buddy. Cheese. You want a piece of cheese? Okay. Here we go. Okay, well, it's for the pizza. Where'd your sister go? You go get Sissy? Can you bring her a piece of cheese too? Yeah. I'm going to try to spread this out as evenly as possible. You want some more? Okay, there's plenty of mozzarella. Okay, we'll give you some mozzarella. Here you go. And we're doing turkey bacon. It's not as greasy. There's not as much salt or sodium in it. There's a lot less fat in it. You want to sit in your chair? Okay, well, the pizza's not quite ready yet. I mean, you're more than welcome to sit in your chair. All right, so we're going to put this in for 4 minutes. I did end up using pretty much all the cheese. A little bit of mozzarella on top of the pepperonis. You want to sit in your chair? Okay. Well, the pizza's almost done. Mama's just got to bake this and then cut it. Really? All right, so I'm going to put this in the oven for 4 minutes and we'll be right back. So the pepperoni is finished. I'm going to put this in the cooktop while I cut the pickle. Guinevere is meowing. So that'll give us the, 5 minutes that we need for the cheese to rest. And we'll be right back. So I'm going to use a pizza cutter to cut this. You can also use a knife. We're going to cut it into 8 slices. Now, this is very, very, like a lot smaller than a regular pizza. So, I'm going to give them 2 slices, a slice of pickle and a slice of pepperoni. But the slices, like I said, they're super small. I mean, this is slightly bigger than a personal-sized pizza. So, that's how I usually just cut the pizza in 8 slices. And I'm going to cut the pepperoni, and then I'll plate it, and we'll be back. The girls are definitely ready to eat. You want to eat pizza? All right. So this is what it looks like. Now, this plate is the size of my hand, and my pinky and my thumb, if I measure it, is 6 inches. So that is definitely a small portion of pizza. But yeah, we're going to try some turkey pepperoni and pickle pizza. And Anastasia just told me enough talking. So there will be a link down in the description of the 2 of them eating their pizza, because they are very hungry and they both want pizza. And yeah, we'll see you over there. Bye.